Watch as this guy exposes that there is no real war with China or Russia or anything. The USA are the real terrorists, and he does this on live TV. Let's take a watch.
We're the ones provoking this war, just like we provoked the war in Ukraine. We are now provoking a war with China. And who benefits? I'll tell you right now. Your enemy is not China. Your enemy is not Russia. Your enemy is the military-industrial complex, which has been fleecing this country to the tunes of hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars. How many times are we going to have a defense secretary say, hey, we can't account for $2 trillion in the Pentagon again? Which has happened twice now in my lifetime. So again, people are being, the war machine cannot be stopped. Who's running this country? The war machine. It certainly isn't Joe Biden making these decisions. I would like to know who is making the decisions. And I just want to remind everybody, the United States is the world's terrorist. We just set the Middle East on fire in the last 20 years, and now we're doing a proxy war in Ukraine, which we provoked, NATO provoked, and it was just admitted that we provoked it by the former Prime Minister of Germany. And now we're trying to saber rattle with China, and they're predicting a war. Again, China's not going to invade us. China's not our enemy. We might have an economic war. That's what these are. These are economic wars.
Watch this video.
Allow me to make one point. If the United States cannot get rare earth products from China to the United States, the U.S. national defense industry need to grind to a halt. Many countries claim they have rare earth. Ukraine say they have rare earth. Russia say they have rare earth. Myanmar in Southeast Asia said they have rare earth. California says they have rare earth. They may have rare earth, but how do you extract them? How do you refine them? I would say it will take minimum 25 years for the United States to reach the level of real commercial production of rare earth. Even if it starts today, plowing in hundreds of billions of US dollars in doing that, the real thing is not to talk about decoupling China from the United States. The real arrangement to complement each other, using your superiority to support me, and I will use my superiority to support you.
Donald Trump is now truly trembling because the oil tanker they stole from Venezuela was headed directly to China. And the president of China is devastated and warns Donald Trump that if he doesn't return it within 24 hours, he will regret it and wish he had never been born, never been president in his life. Since the president of China has warned him that he will have no mercy on the United States. Donald Trump is doing whatever he wants and wants to get away with stealing Venezuela's oil tankers, but he didn't know that the oil tanker they seized was headed straight to China. And the president of China got so upset that he told Donald Trump that if he hasn't lowered his balls, China certainly will and will make him kneel before China. This is getting serious, folks.
If you want to have war, you will get war. If you want to destroy China, you will be destroyed. If you want to impose nuclear war on China, you will be wiped out by nuclear war. This is very serious. China's policy is very clear. China will not fire the first shot, but China will not allow you to fire the second shot.
Donald Trump is shaken after hearing the brutal message China sent him. Listen closely. If you want conflict, conflict is what you'll get. If you want to crush China, you will be crushed. If you attempt to force a nuclear war on China, you will be wiped out by nuclear fire. This is not a threat to ignore. China's stance is crystal clear. China will never fire the first shot, but it will never tolerate a second strike against it. If you watched the Victory Day parade in Beijing on September 3rd, saw one weapon that stunned the world, a missile capable of carrying multiple warheads. It's known as the 61 because it can carry 60 nuclear warheads plus a hydrogen bomb. And here's the reality of today's world. Only one country possesses this level of hydrogen bomb capability: China. That intercontinental missile can strike any point on Earth in under 20 minutes, eliminating any target anywhere with no realistic chance of interception. Military analysts are now warning that the global balance of power may already be tipping, but China displayed was more than a weapon.
We cannot contain China. Or let me put it more drastically. China has nuclear weapons, Russia has nuclear weapons, and one of the consequences of the United States' effort to fight China economically and to fight Russia in Ukraine has to bring those two countries closer together than they have ever been. It's too late, and we have too little in the way of means of doing it. We could have this Cold War, this economic war, degenerate into a military war. But then it's over for all of us and, game over. So what's the option? Two things and then I'm done. One, sit down with the Chinese and work out a way to live together on this planet, being careful of the natural environment and being careful of one another. We ought to be able to do that. We have more than enough brains in either of the two sides, and certainly the two together should be a stunning team.
So ladies and gentlemen, I'm trusting that you're all doing well today. Welcome to the channel. So currently, if you have noticed, there's a lot of political shift and diplomacy shifts rather. And we have seen China sending warning to the United States of America. I'm like, yeah, a lot of you are wondering, why is the rift? So currently, Donald Trump has been trying to use his theory to channel it to China. And we've known, or rather we've seen, how China operates. So according to ChatGPT, or according to AI, China is one of the biggest lenders of money to most countries. And apparently, it also lends the United States of America. And you have seen the development across the world that China is bringing, even into African countries. Speak about roads, speak about infrastructure rather, speak about the buildings that the Chinese people are trying to, to come up, especially with the big cities in Africa and so on. So apparently there is a political diplomacy, and a lot of people, actually leaders in the whole world, are saying they'd rather partner with China than partnering with the United States of America, as long as diplomacy, as far as diplomacy is concerned rather. So we have seen that once a country is able to command such, it becomes so powerful. And this is not settling well with Donald Trump, because we have seen Donald Trump is trying to control each and everything that goes around. Right now, he has intervened into Israel and Iranian war, and therefore, the United States of America bombed Iran, and it's not sitting well with China. And they're saying that if Donald Trump continues to indulge into that, they're going to send Beijing, and Beijing is going to enter into that war. So do you think that if, maybe just in case this happened, USA, is it really likely to win over China? And if it doesn't, if it does, what do you think is going to happen? So in my previous videos, I've also spoken about why Donald Trump is really interested in the UAE countries. This is because it's one of the biggest exporters of oil. And we all know that without oil, without fuel, a lot of things are going to be in stake. So ladies and gentlemen, just in case you're new here again, my name is Yvonne. And to my returning subscribers, my day one, thank you so much for staying. And you are welcome to being part of my online family as usual. Let me know, what do you think triggers this war majorly, and now China is getting into, and what is the rift between China and Donald Trump? Because you have seen American people, they don't want all this. They don't want to be engaged. They don't want to be part of this shenanigan that their president allegedly is pushing into other nations. So until next time.